Your camera's off.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome to Tavern Talk. We are a full spoiler live talk show based on the epic fantasy series Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Joining me as always is Dad Swain Eilish Sedai, Jansen the Gleeman, and my brother Dan's working through a bubble of evil. Thank you again for joining us. We have some luminary guests joining when they can. Out there he is.
There he is.
To know him is to loathe him.
How dare you?
Brother Dan. Yes, we're talking Egwene. We're going to do a book to show comparison. We're going to continue this series as we all collectively mourn the loss of our beloved show. But more beloved are the books. So we have experts in the field.
You know, I do love our chat. Thank you guys for being here. It does seem that with the news of the show's demise, so has many people's motivation to watch Wheel of Time content. I think they're still in a grieving process. There's 7 stages in there, Ryan. Isn't that true? 7. So I think they're like still in stage 4 or 5. They haven't gotten to acceptance yet, and then reminiscing joyfully. So we're just carrying on the banner, and I'm glad to see our condensed but powerful group watching us. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
That is awesome. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And before we begin, happy Pride Month to all of you. And official the way of the Leaf statement is that we hope your Pride Month is as gay as you want it to be.
Be as gay as you want to be, guys.
Be more gay.
Be more
But
gay.
if you want to be more, if you don't want, you shouldn't be.
Be the most.
Don't be pressured to be straight or gay. Just be, you know.
And do whatever you want, man.
Just have a good Pride Month.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's
you know what, guys? I actually missed Motor City Pride because of our show. So my wife and daughter are there. This show is that important that I miss fucking cool stuff to do it. So I love you guys a lot.
That's amazing. What an ally.
I know. And we all know Dan's a huge fan of assless chaps.
Yeah.
And I think, like, for him to give up the Apples, which is funny, I'd made that joke to my brother earlier, and it auto-corrected to assless chaos. So I was like, yeah, we all know you're a big fan of assless chaos, Dan.
I like assless chaps. I like assless lads, assless blokes, assless mates,
chums, chiefs.
Chaps, yeah.
All right.
Boss,
hey. Speaking of chaos, when I think of our guest, I think the words bookish, loquacious, daunting,
loquacious.
Yeah, let's bring. Yeah, you all know. If you guess in chat, let me know.
Here we go. He's a man whose hair does float. His beard doesn't grow. It stays the same shape wherever he goes.
Oh, nice.
He's a man who draws. He's got no flaws that I know. Oh.
Hey.
Yeah.
Loquacious.
Let's hope his insights are as good as his hair.
His insights?
No, not at all.
Insights. Oh.
How's it going?
You said insides.
Guys, this is Joe O'Hara from LeafCast. I know no one has ever seen him before in the flesh.
No.
There he is.
Yep.
Very cool.
Jesus.
I'm Jansen. How you doing,
fellas?
man? What's up?
What's in that stein you got?
A mug, yes.
I went to the Renaissance Festival with my daughter, and it holds 2 beers.
And what do you have? World's Best Dad etched into it? Oh.
I think it's 40th anniversary or something. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
All
She
right.
bought it for you. She's like, I know just what Daddy needs.
Yeah, she's like, I know what Dad wants. More beer.
Sorry.
I'll take that.
All right, let's bring our guests up here.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so Egwene Alvear, quite possibly the least controversial character in the Wheel of Time. No one, everyone uniquely loves her. I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Oh.
All
You
right,
don't like
let's start with this. Did Madeline Madden, is she your headcanon for Egwene? Go.
I think she's great casting.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
No. Is she in your head when you think of Egwene? Do you think of her? Let's go.
That's a great question. I think this is a fantastic question.
All right, while you guys think, let's bring it on in. A man, a few words. He's like a Zen Koan. Got to study him carefully. Does he raise an eyebrow? Does he grimace?
Is he profound or just profane?
All right. Let's all say hello to Jono from LeafCast.
Hello.
Quite the entry.
Hello.
Apologies for being late.
Hey.
Hi.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
What did you two have to settle down the kids? Which I don't even know what that means, Ryan. Settle like the kid, like you got to settle there.
No, okay,
like,
well,
does that
no,
mean,
there's
like,
there's
make
obvious
food?
yeah.
Is it like
give
him
you
brandy.
put in a VCR of a Little Mermaid?
No,
It's a
there's-
little whiskey, and it's Netflix now. Come on.
It's a pressure
VCR.
blanket and noogies.
Robitussin.
It's modern day
Hello.
parenting.
Yeah, my wife is absent from the home this evening, and I had to get the kids distracted while I would hang out with you guys.
How
All
old?
right.
How old are the
Sorry,
kids?
tryptophan.
My daughter is 6 and change. My son is 3 and change. They're about 3.5,
Very
6 and a
cool.
half.
Very cool. Dude, I haven't even sent you. I got some really good pictures of you, man, of us actually.
Really?
Yeah, some really
At
good
Georgetown?
some of you guys at the panel and stuff. You and Dan and everything. There's some good ones.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Send
yeah.
them on my way.
With doing the dating game with Maria.
Yeah, I got great really great pictures though. I don't know why I'm the most horrible picture taker, but these came out really well.
Yeah, I got you guys.
It's because John is so photogenic.
You're like, I belong in front of the camera, please.
Yeah. My behind is in front too.
All right, so before you came, John, I asked the group, when you think of Egwene, is Madeline Madden your Egwene? Has she become your headcanon?
Yeah.
Like from a physical point of view?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how you think. Like some people think of pictures.
Yeah. Not quite. She doesn't. But again, I think that I'm not upset by her casting or anything like that. I think that she's not quite what I expect. She's a little too tall. Technically, I forget what her bust size is when they had to put her in a different dress in book 2.
Did you notice that dagger they spent all that time on?
Did not.
20,000 hours.
Weird. The show cost too much. It got canceled. What's the
For me, she doesn't.
There's not.
She does not. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I read the books a lot.
Yeah.
And the books are very, very descriptive. And they talk about the way that people look a lot in the books. There are, however, about 20 different characters from the show that I will forever think of now as those people on the show until someone else is cast to put in that, because I don't look at castings as making that perfect. There's been 8 Supermans. There's I'm an actor, so I portray people, and it never really comes. There are certain people, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, absolutely. I will always think of Wolverine in
Tall
person form. They wrote that they redacted that.
Jansen, so let's dig into that a tiny bit if we can, because I agree with you. There are several characters that I would say that I think of when Rand and Moraine, I think, were so perfectly done, like themselves, like
Yeah.
the way that they kind of by the third season. When I think of them, I think of the characters. But
Yep.
Egwene is not someone that I do. And I wonder, why is that?
I think I know a really good reason why that could be. And that's the sheer reason of this actual episode of this show. And it's that we're comparing each character from the books and the show.
Mhm.
I believe that this Egwene is so different
Yes.
from the book.
Yeah,
She's
she might be
extremely
the
different.
most different. Yeah, she might be
Yeah.
the most different of all of our main characters.
Glenn says that she's really good. Yeah, I love her casting. I love, God, like the passion that she showed when she was captured by the Shanshin was some really, really good acting. And I imagine that was a rough day of filming to get into that situation time and time again emotionally. And
Very erotic.
see it. It was so horny.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah,
actually, one of the things is this too, because while it is true that I don't see them in my head when I'm reading the books or thinking about the books or anything like that, I don't like Egwene Alvear in the books as a person.
Like all the way through 14
I
books? Or like-
believe that I believe she is the definition of hubris.
Right? Uh-huh.
I
to
believe
me,
that,
I thought you were going
Go
to say
ahead.
devil.
you know,
that's-
I just witnessed over the past of a few weeks a guy named Tyrese Halliburton come out of nowhere
Uh-huh.
and literally light up all the big guys in the NBA. And
Not
I'm only
literally
using
light
that
up,
as an
they weren't on fire.
analogy because Robert Jordan tried to write Egwene doing the same thing, but the scale of things that Egwene was trying to do with no experience, with no she almost plot armor. It's weird, dude. Like there were so many things. It was like,
Can we
how
say
do you
that
not-
Egwene
how is she
should
not
have been?
Taverin? How is
Should
she
she
not
have been
Taverin?
officially Taverin? Exactly. What do you think,
You know?
Matt Swain?
About TAVERN?
Well, about everything.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
How you doing?
she dilutes Taverin in the book by being
Love
she is.
TAVERN. Yeah, I didn't like Egwene at all. She just reminds me of girls in my life that I don't like. So I kind of, in the books and in the show, Egwene, I liked a
You're
lot better.
projecting. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't resonate with her. I kind of agree. I think there are aspects of show Egwene that probably come from trying to force that into my image of the books. Like I did not like how she just sort of disrespected the tower as much as she did. And I think in season 3, in one scene, she's kind of like, I need to stay. She's telling Swan, I need to stay because I need to get stronger. I need to get better. But I'm not even going to go back to your stupid tower unless you let me go to the arches. And I just expected Swan to like channel her into fire on the spot. Because, I was like, what a bitch. I can't believe she said that. And then she goes in through the arches and then she's like, got my ring, cunts, bye. And then I was just kind of like, what? So she just annoyed me. And there's definitely aspects of Egwene's character from the books and she's Australian, so I love her already. But I just sort of thought Egwene's character, there were just too many things that I was like, oh, not again. There were also moments that I thought were epic and amazing in the show, like very well acted. Again, we were talking about season 2. Her whole deal with the Shanshan, it blew my mind. I was crying, I was bawling. So it definitely affected me in a way that I can recognize the acting chops were there. It was exciting. It was amazing. But I think there was too much about Egwene's character for just me, Dad Swain, personally, that I was kind of like, oh, get off my screen.
So in comparing show to book, it starts off pretty benignly as well. Besides the cultural difference in like appearance, This is Egwene. She is the daughter of the Bran Alvear, who is the
hair
mayor,
braided.
who's the corrupt
Braid.
mayor. They're having Beltane. They're all excited for that. Rand comes into town. She and he are actually bone. They straight up bone. It's not like they just like danced around a maypole together and like locked eyes. And maybe,
Well, she
like,
did.
did stuff.
The maple was his penis.
No, they fuck in a kitchen, like in like the kitchen where everyone's food is cooked.
Yeah.
So
Go
technically, she
Dan,
touched
it was on the
the
dining room table by the fireplace.
by the fireplace. So she technically touched the dragon scepter first, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Speaking of differences,
Well,
and
Rand
changes-
touched it first.
He did,
speaking of
you're right.
differences and changes, some of the other things they did was, some of the inflection of things were different from the book
Mhm.
and the film. Like
Mhm.
sex in the book was a way bigger deal than it was in the show. And
Mhm.
Robert Jordan used that for things that they couldn't do in the show. They talked about it sometimes. They even having one of Avienda's, what was it? I can't remember which. It was okay. It was her on her trip back to Roydion the second time, and in her POV, she talked about how sleeping with Rand was the only man she ever slept with, and that was a huge big deal to her. In the book, in the show, this Avienda already said seems like she fucked a bunch of people.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's fine,
Yeah.
but that's another aspect that changes the entire culture of the show from the book.
Yeah,
it came
You're
up
very
from-
right.
we've
But
been
I
Year
don't know if the
20.
Aiel were so.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if the
Go
Aiel
ahead,
were-
Jono.
I don't know if the Aiel were so non-promiscuous. I think that may have been more she was because she had done this with Elaine's kind of chosen. Because I think that there are some, and again, Jansen, you usually remember shit better than I do. But there are some references that it's not a huge deal to share your bedroll, that kind of thing, and maybe that's just literally bedroll.
Yeah, she said bedroll.
It's just
She said that
sleepovers,
to-
Jono.
She
They're just
said
having
that to
popcorn.
Egwene, and she said that
Watching a
she
movie.
said that to Egwene in the sweat
Pillow
tent when Avienda begged her to get the wise ones to stop her sleeping in Rand's room.
Yeah, but they're pretty fine with nudity and shit too. So maybe you could extrapolate that bedroll meant really rolling around in bed.
Well,
I
the
don't
book-
think she was. I don't think she was turned away from sex or anything. I just think she was very focused in the books on being a maiden. That's what she really wanted to be. That's what she really wanted to do. It really, she
It
was.
worked.
She could have
Yeah.
fucked dudes if she wanted to. She was just married to the spear. So I think that definitely changed. In the show, just like Jensen was saying.
I think
they,
in the
and they
books,
used it such the wrong way. I was just thinking about it. Like, they missed so many opportunities, man. Like, they had naked women in Shinar, right? In the first season. Wouldn't it have been even funnier and better, though, if you saw Rand, Matt, and Piran all, showering in this, and then all of a sudden, all three of them's eyes get hugely wide. Then you see the back look of them holding their front.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, we lost you.
We lost you.
Jensen.
We lost you.
Your
Right
mic
now.
couldn't handle.
Got so excited he turned his mic off.
It sounds like
Oh,
a
damn.
Porky's.
There you go.
Sorry, yeah, but wouldn't that have been
You were
hilarious?
building.
That would have been
Absolutely.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And so,
They
so
missed
how about
such
this?
a great
So-
opportunity there.
and as like character development wise, like we got to see our in the books our young innocent characters go off in the world and see other norms around sex.
Yeah,
and be and have to you see the
Handle it.
shock from their POVs, and they had to kind of grow to accept this, or not. But and also the other point is how badass would it have been if Lanfear stole Rand's virginity as opposed to having just been another partner.
Right.
yeah.
Ryan, that Lanfear thing is awesome. I love that. If he was like, I've never been with a woman before, and then she whispers, yes,
Seamus.
yes, you have, and then fucks it. But
Yes, you have.
That's
yeah,
my
yes, you have. But the Two Rivers were very puritanical, right? In the books, if anyone had caught them having sex in the kitchen or the Wine Spring Inn, there would be a line of people hitting them with sticks. There would be like they'd have to wear letters on their cloak.
Oh, didn't that happen to poor? Didn't that happen to poor Nat Daughtry and Kimberly Lewin?
Yep.
Yeah.
What Nynaeve found him, beat the shit out of him, and they got married the next day.
Oh no, not Matt. Owen Daughtry.
No, and Nynaeve's the one with the bell. He's saying shame.
Yeah. And that was just oral.
Yeah, she's like, bring me a switch.
But I mean, they did it in the show. I mean, in the show when you were in the White Tower, Galad and Gowan had free reign.
Yeah,
guys, and we never even talked about how like unsanitary it is to be like doing it in the kitchen of a public establishment. Everyone the next day.
Were they in the kitchen? I thought they were in the common room.
We've all done it.
That's where they
I
ended
thought
up.
they were out in the common space like after everyone had left.
We've all done it.
Maybe they traveled and did it everywhere.
Yeah.
And then
They're just all over the place.
they're like, we need to do the.
Let's make sure we hit every table. Don't clean it.
And it's like the family circus cartoon when you see the arrow of everywhere they go on the.
Yeah, and then the next morning, Egwene seats them at that table.
Oh no!
And like giggles to herself. He's like, "Here you go, Sen. You should sit here."
Oh damn it, Joe! I want you to do that. I need a cartoon of them having sex throughout the Wine Spring Inn. Family circus style with arrows.
I should be drawing right now.
That's so pop that up.
I also think it would have
doesn't take any time.
It would have translated funny. I agree completely with Jensen. There was that scene where Nynaeve and Lan are with Rand and the girls, and he's kind of confessing that he loves all three of them, and Nynaeve is like going into like apoplexy, like she's freaking the fuck out, and to read that is hilarious. I just thought, the image in my mind and everything was hilarious. I was kind of like, but to see it on screen, I think would have been equally hilarious. Just to have Nynaeve be like, and it would have been great.
Show Nynaeve would not do that.
No.
Show Nynaeve was zen, man. Show Nynaeve was the one who, like, Matt was like, help me. And she's like, you got it, bud. I saw very little scolding, or there was more mothering, but there was very little scolding per se.
I mean,
besides her throwing Egwene off a cliff.
Yeah, she kind of had to be, because the book Nynaeve started off on level 10.
Intolerable.
And like,
intolerable.
You can't be an actor.
I knew it.
And do that and be. I mean, what are you just like a screaming harridan for like 3 seasons? You can't do that.
And what they do is, but
that nasty water.
Look what they made her though. Like she's like a milquetoast version of nothing for a while.
No,
there's really nothing that exciting.
Well, it's not what. But see, here's the thing. This is where you have to understand something. They didn't make her that way. The actor made her that way.
But don't they, and pardon my
They have no say in what that. I mean, I always thought it was like
don't you have direction
between like
of course you have direction. Of course you have direction, but a director doesn't change the personality of a character. A director can't do that. A director will tell you about inflection, will tell you about like feeling a certain way and what he envisions, but ultimately it's the actor's portrayal of whatever they're doing, and it's going to be a very different. I don't know. I'm not going to say that they fucked up the casting because they got a very, very good actor to do it, but it's like I will definitely say this, and you're going to think that I'm crazy.
Done.
I actually think that there are other actors that could play it differently. Of course.
Yeah,
that's
crazy. That can't be right.
Wait, what? Liam Neeson?
One of those. Well, I was going to say one of the actors I thought would have been really good to play Nynaeve, and you were going to think I'm crazy, but it's Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She's pretty old.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
kind of
no.
old now.
She was just in a Jason Statham movie, and believe me, if you saw it, you understand why I say that.
Okay. All right, let's
Okay,
stick with Egwene though.
I was going to
Yeah,
say
we-
this is
we've
become a
gotten-
98 episode.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no doubt.
That's
No.
Spain is
We'll do our-
that's Spain did all this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, in my brain, in my like ultimate brain, what's her name is playing Egwene, and that's oh my god, why did I forget her name? She had played Queen Amidala.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, that's Egwene to me for some reason.
Oh, that's Kate Bosworth. Okay.
I think it's someone else.
Mhm.
That's a very old picture of Kate Bosworth,
Mhm.
like
Or a
20
very
years
young
old.
picture. Yeah.
Natalie Portman. I can see it.
Yeah, I could see Natalie Portman playing Queen Amidala. In fact, if
She
it
did
went
play Queen
mainstream-
Amidala.
Exactly.
I can
mean,
see it.
Egwene, sorry. Yeah, Egwene.
I can see it too.
Let's turn on the TV and I can actually see it.
In
you
regards,
can, yeah.
in regards to Egwene's her growth within the Two Rivers for book versus show, I personally think the show did way better.
So
I
do I.
liked the relationship was deeper with Rand. The impetus to leave.
Literally.
Yeah, I like the Egwene in the show. I liked her in the show.
I liked
Mhm.
them throwing her off the river and having her float. I like that shit. It was, I like.
Yeah,
I
they
liked-
made-
it. Just seems kind of tribal and shit. I liked it, man.
They made some interesting cultural changes that I didn't disagree with, and they made some changes to it. But I think they start losing. Obviously everything's easier in rectum spec, as they say. But like, you don't have this like full timeline of what she was going to turn into, so they kind of just like jumped quick pieces of her character.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long the show was going to be, 7 seasons, and what you could have packed into it. But instead, certain pieces of her seem just kind of, I don't know, missing. Like, we don't have much of a journey with her. She's just kind of, like, we have a journey with her, but like an emotional journey. She just kind of seems angry all the time for not much reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In
Maybe
the
that is
Two Rivers,
accurate women.
in the Two Rivers in the book, she more or less just left because she was hiding in a barn because she saw Rand was gonna go somewhere, and she's like, "Randolph Thor, how dare you try to have an adventure without me? I'm
Tearing them back in
16
the
and
fucking
I
room.
can
Mhm.
do it."
But no,
But
that's
that's
not
like a
why
little
she
kid
left.
thing to do, though. In
mean,
the
that-
book,
yeah, but
she's
that's not-
like
that's not-
16 when they
Yeah,
leave.
here,
but
here
that's not
she
why
was
she
told
left.
she may be the dragon.
But no,
And-
that's not why she left, though, man.
In
Now,
the,
if you read,
in the show,
no, I'm talking about in the books.
oh,
That's not she.
Okay.
Because
that's
in the
what she said.
yeah, but in the books, you forget she was a dreamer, and she was dreaming way, way earlier than before, so she could already, at least in the back of her head, see the future.
Where's
Wait.
the evidence to that?
Do I hear a challenge?
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, we didn't
Where's
really.
Do I hear
I'm
a
not-
challenge?
I'm not going to get in the middle of this challenge, but we didn't really see her paying attention to her dreams until a few books in, certainly, where she was kind of like, I have dreams.
Well, I am 100% sure that there is a prequel of Egwene as a child, and she's already
Retcon.
heard,
Yeah.
and she
Retcon.
already heard the yes, and she
What's
already
that
heard the
chapter
echoes.
called?
The,
Something
the-
Ravens.
the Ravens, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she already heard the echoes of her dreaming.
Oh,
So I think subconsciously, Egwene was always going to do what she was going to do. She already knew.
Mhm.
When was that chapter put out, though? I mean, like, that was.
But
it was written by
It was
Robert
around
Jordan,
the time that
Jono,
they
it's
split the books, Jono,
It's canon.
and
oh, they
Yeah,
did the
it's,
youth.
it's
time.
definitely
Like 6 or
canon.
7 or
Yeah.
something.
they split the books in half for like children, young
Yeah.
adult versions of the books, and it was like inserted into that. So whenever they did that, like it was a long time.
Yeah, it frustrates me that that's not more available. I've got that version somewhere, but like
It's
I,
in.
It's also in the comic if you guys have
Yeah.
ever read the
I
comic.
Yep.
think it's also
Oh.
in the new
I-
editions of like the Eye of the World and stuff. I know that mine.
Yeah,
mine
yeah.
had it
Any,
Really?
any of the newer.
So you
editions
do you
of
have
it,
do you have the comics, the whole thing?
My sister
Yeah,
has.
I have
that
like
book.
most of it. Yeah,
I need one.
you need number one.
No, I need number 3 with Tom Maryland on it.
Mm.
Oh,
It's the only one I don't have.
I got I got a lot of them individually, but then I just got the thin,
graphical.
hardback collected volume, so it was a lot easier to grab.
Yeah, I got
way.
every one. I love it. I just want that
They're
other
cool.
one.
Oh yeah, so Raven's chapter is in play. Like that's we're gonna
Yeah.
which is why
John, just because it's not the one you reread all the time, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
It's some of the most important writing in all of Wheel of Time. Like that,
the prologue we think is very important, right, Ryan?
So yeah, like I had this
prologue.
whole theory about Tam Althor very early on. I was like, oh, it's all about Tam, right? It's all Tam knew is a hashtag Tam.
Of course,
right?
he knew.
And like I was like DMing with Lauren from Unraveling because this is back when he was helping us out, and I told him the theory, and he goes, "Well, you know about ravens, right?" And I was like, "Nope." And he steered me to it, and then like holy crap! Like not only he knew before, right? Like he knew the prophecies.
Yep.
He knew the prophecies.
Brand's like,
So,
"Hey, Tam, you tell the kids."
No,
the story.
you also have to remember, Tam didn't just know the prophecies. Tam was an officer in Ilion. He knew everything about the horn too.
Second of the companions.
Yeah, he knew what the horn was. He knew everything about all the lore about the horn too. He knew a lot, and that's why a prequel would be awesome.
Well, there was nothing cooler than when he wanted to do those prequels. They were supposed to be 3, right? New Spring being one of them. But
New Spring, and then Tam as a companion during the war.
And what brought
what the other
Moraine and Land to the Two Rivers just in
time.
yes,
that was
Tam was going to get a back. Tam knew. Hashtag Tam fucking knew.
Of course.
But we'll get back to Egwene. But let me, if I can, guys, I do have something actually important to talk about. One of, our community is fucking rad. We hang out in a fantasy community talking about fantasy stuff, but sometimes real life like sticks its finger right in your eye and makes you cry, right? And so one of our friends, Lifeline of Fool, life has decided to poke him in the eye. His brother, who is a PhD doctor who worked with bird research, was in Alaska and perished in a helicopter accident while doing research. He sounds like he was a really terrific guy. He was into conservation and wildlife and trying to save birds. And there is a GoFundMe that has been set up. But even if you don't do the GoFundMe, just send kind words to him, or think kind thoughts. He's been with us for a long time, and if he hurts, I hurt, and so sorry, I'll be off. Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Dr. So Shiloh. That's the information. We'll keep that up for most of the rest of the show. Yeah, man.
So sorry to bring it down, but we love you so much, LBF. Your family, and you are in our hearts. And Tyshar, man.
Yeah.
That's
thanks for killing the fucking mood here.
Yeah. So speaking of wet pussy, no, just.
Oh my.
So to me, Egwene, the show Egwene in the beginning, she is given much more agency and reason to leave the Two Rivers. I like what they did, and it follows pretty true to they go to Shadow Logo.
Yeah.
And get split up, and it's just her and Perrin. The whole Perrin-Rand triangle thing I did not like at all.
No one did.
And Egwene was an unfortunate part of that, I guess, because Layla didn't go to watch her get pushed off a cliff because there's some beef. I guess she was texting her man. She found out. She's like, "Oh, are you still going to my party?" She's like, "Fuck your party."
That whole Perrin, that was a waste. Huge waste.
it's. Oh, anyway, you finished. I'm sorry, you finished, Dan. Otherwise, I was just going to agree completely with Jansen and go off on another angle. That doesn't matter.
And they also almost kind of had where Perrin had to consider sacrificing Egwene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
One of my favorite parts of the book.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love to have seen that instead of say Steppen funeral.
Oh, I thought you
God,
said you would
you're
love to
right.
see him sacrifice her.
No. I mean, I
That
just
did
love that
not
part in the book. I love the ravens thing, or like all the birds chasing after them, and I love the the fear of them like
darkest
running
things,
up and down the hills as they're going with Elias.
The hills of Tenchi.
I would have. You know what? That would have cost
Wait,
less.
Elias?
Step and shit.
Thank you.
Say it
Elias.
like
I say
E.T.?
Elias. It's just in my brain from when I read the books 1,000 years ago.
Oh,
I
I
know
didn't
it's
even
Elias.
catch that. I'm like, who's Elias? What does she do?
What age is she from?
The Wolf Aja.
The Wolf Asha.
Oh, yeah, brother, you are in our thoughts, and those who pray, I'm sure,
my man.
are doing it
That's
as we speak. Speaking of prayers,
Congratulations to your niece.
thoughts and prayers
Congratulations are
to
awesome.
LA right now.
God
If you
damn.
are, I imagine our numbers are low because half of our viewership is protesting ICE right now
Yeah.
in LA.
Around
But if
Temple
you
and
are,
Pico.
please be safe. Don't throw anything.
Right.
Get out.
They want you to be pretext. Don't be a pretext, please. Be kind and gentle when you're out there.
Be a post text.
No,
You
right now
know,
they're
like-
just beating people up on the on I think the 101 or 105 or something. It's pretty gnarly.
110.
One rock.
Maybe.
No, the 110's pretty quiet. I've been on it 3 times today.
Okay.
I was
No,
downtown.
okay, it's the
couldn't-
101. Yeah, they blocked the 101 temporarily, and now they're getting
The
manhandled.
101 is the
Damn it.
one that goes right through downtown, so I can see. I would imagine if the 10 is closed off there too as well. You take the
And-
10 to
Yeah.
Sunset. You go left. You ever see that?
I don't know these
sketch?
words.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you know that scene in Speed? No, I'm kidding. I also have no idea. Yeah.
Go over White Bridge and then take a left at
And
Fairlines.
isn't it true that it like only in California do you say the in front of us freeway?
I was actually laughing about that because friends from our Taffy came with her husband and he called it the 400 and I was like, it's just 400. There's no the.
I got corrected out
only-
here in Michigan.
The only 400.
It's
Like,
the
Yeah,
only
we
funny.
do
That's
use
just so
the. We use.
reasonable.
Hey, we use the. That's just how it is. We do. We
Yeah,
use
no,
the.
yeah.
Yeah, we use
It's
the-
weird how it didn't get anywhere else though. It's like only in California. Most
It's
I
like
think.
it's like a Tribe Called Quest. Just say the whole name.
Big fans of articles out there, huh?
Yeah.
So I have a speaking of the
point.
Egwene situation, the Madeline Madden did not replace Egwene in my mind.
Same.
And I do believe there's several reasons. One, way older.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like to think of her as younger too.
I did that was one of the weird harder jumps for me for some reason because she doesn't even look like she looks like mid-20s. She looks older to me.
They did age them all up, if I'm remembering.
Yeah, and
They
that decision was not, I don't know. That's debatable whether that was the right decision or not. If
She
if
doesn't
you
look
want
like a
to,
crystallized fragment of death either, and that's how I.
Do we
Oh,
think?
okay, yeah.
What if we had spent more time with the Alvear family in general? I couldn't pick out Bran Alvear in a lineup right now. If you showed 5
I know,
actors.
yeah.
If we had seen more,
Their
of
parents
their
all
interaction
kind of
with
irrelevant because they aged them up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying to our relationship with Madden.
Hmm.
Would we associate her more as Egwene if we saw more of the Alvear family and that sort of interaction?
Well, we
I
saw
think
a lot of
so.
her mom in season 3
And season,
with
yeah.
Perrin.
But just
But it
her
wasn't
mom,
with
like,
Madeline though.
Yeah, it wasn't with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if she had been a little bit more under the authority of her mum and dad, and also Nynaeve in some respects, because then as her character sort of gained her own agency and leveled up a little bit, you could have seen that detachment a lot clearer. just Egwene becoming herself, rather than in the beginning you see her underneath. There's that whole section in the books where Egwene and Nynaeve are just going back and forth at each other because they can't figure out whether Egwene's a woman or not, like a grown up or not. And
It's one of my favorite scenes. Yeah.
yeah, and then Elaine has to be like, "Shut the fuck up! She's grown up." And so it's a good detachment for the reader to be like, okay, Egwene is now her own character, rather than being rather than being young and sort of immature and under these other people's authority. She's detached from that, and we didn't really get to see that in the show.
I like that.
Actually,
Her
let's say-
relationship age-wise to Nynaeve really got affected by them aging her up a little bit.
Mhm.
You know,
They
like
were
they were
more
more
like-
equals already. You know,
Besties,
yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Hi, Lorena.
Let LPT in the
Lorena's
house.
like, "You're all wrong."
Yeah.
I'm interested in that point of view. Like, is it because that an incredible fucking emotional journey she goes on when she's there with the Shanchan, or is it before that? I like a lot of what they did with Egwene, and I get why they would move certain pieces. It's just that like the total product for me, like I don't quite get, but certain things are very justifiable. But I'd be interested in what LPT, as they apparently call her.
I think they gave Show Egwene too many like important things. Like in season one, like why was it her?
Yeah.
Why was it her that healed Nynaeve? I thought that was dumb. Like what an
my
easy
God.
thing to switch.
Yeah.
To
Oh my
switch the
God.
other way.
You discussed it,
And
Jansen.
then,
You discussed
and then like versus Ishmael at the end of season 2, I was like, what the fuck am I? She's just holding a shield against Ishmael? Like what? Like,
And Ishmael's like,
he's just
what is this?
shooting little sparklers at her.
Let
And
me
I'm like,
just
what
do
the
this.
fuck am I watching? This is Ishmael. He should be like ripping her apart in 5 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
was ridiculous.
I don't know. Like there was just
thought
little
that
things
was
like that I was
ridiculous.
just like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I think that
understand.
comes from us having an understanding of the power structure too, because I also felt like,
Yeah.
I was very partial to Nynaeve in the books. I loved Nynaeve in the books. I
Yeah.
thought she was fantastic.
Same.
I resonated with her at the time
Yeah,
that I was
Nynaeve.
reading.
So
I
that
still love her. I think she's great, but she is the healer. And so having, Egwene, who many times throughout the book, she's like, I can't even heal a bruise. And then she's kind of like, death is gone now. It just didn't make sense to me. And also, like you said, at the end, she's fighting a Forsaken. Like, she should have had her face handed to her.
Agreed.
I would
The
watch
episode
that,
of
yeah.
season 2 that like I fucking loved though was like her being broken after being caught. Like that was fucking fantastic. I
Yeah,
love
pretty
that
rough.
those parts of book 2 in the series or in the
Yeah.
show.
So-
Or, sorry.
right.
In the book series.
So we talked
But
about
like watching
Perrin-
it expanded was amazing.
We
Sorry,
talked
Dan.
about Perrin last week, and we think that like him within the Two Rivers, it wasn't carried as well. But to LPT's point, Madeline really carried the whole Shanshan imprisonment, and this was her arc. I mean, season 2 was kind of more, more or less
Yeah.
her.
I agree.
there.
Not kind of.
And she
Yeah.
carried it like a champ, regardless of the stupid little mouth things and all.
I agree.
And Rena
And in the season finale, Dan, like her defeating Rena essentially was fantastic. That could have been the
Mhm. Hell
end.
yeah.
I would have been so satisfied if that had been the end of her. Like,
Oh, yeah, I
character
would have been
in terms
too.
of
You're
the
right.
finale.
Yeah,
And
you're
it's
right.
just like why are they throwing her into the fight with Ishamael? I'm like, what is happening? Why?
Right.
Like, what
Two
just
characters.
happened?
They
Rand
had
versus
to be
Ishamael.
together. They had to
No,
be
they
together.
didn't.
All of them.
So they could have the cool, like Marvel, like
Dragon
lineup.
They could have all been on ground level looking up at the tower, just
Dragon.
like
I mean, she
everybody
was
else.
already at the top of the
Dragon.
tower, so she could have just taken a nap and then waken up at
Yeah.
the end and been like, I'm here.
like
guys,
like
don't you,
the-
don't, guys, don't you
I'll be
know
open, yeah.
it's because they need to emasculate the male characters by giving the female characters all the heroic moments.
That's
Guys,
right.
don't you read the internet?
Right.
Yeah.
They're
I forgot.
they're emasculating the men.
And that's why we asked for female points of view on this show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're sorry about this, guys.
I'm
This
wearing a
is not
dress.
on
What do you want?
purpose.
To-
Dan, it's
tonight
not the
I
same.
she her what?
I'm
It's
wearing a wig.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Good enough.
All right, no,
Um,
yeah, we strive for representation.
Not the
Today was-
same.
Isn't there a not a theory? Like like Rafe was pretty like unapologetic that like Egwene's like one of his favorite characters. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
no, yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean, so it feels like a very intentional, like, well, I'm in charge here kind of thing, and let's give her this like extra onus. Like, she's legitimately like the second most important TAVERN. It seems like, because I don't know what the fuck Matt and Perrin's TAVERN even does. Then like she's ubiquitous throughout the entire time for the most part, and massive arcs, gets a whole bunch of stuff. And I think there was some theory that like Nynaeve would kind of get the like, mental healing, and then Egwene would get the physical. But considering we never saw the end of Nynaeve's arc, it looks like Egwene's just the healer. So again, it's just kind of everything shoveled under her.
Yeah, I wonder that they had maybe tried to put so much of Egwene's, the beginnings of her later story arcs, trying to smash that into her so the viewers can see like where she's supposed to go, and it just overkilled. It was just kind of like, what is she doing? It was just a lot of loose ends for me, or things that didn't really pan out. Where in the books there were things that were dropped at the beginning that you later were kind of like, oh shit, that's what they were talking about, or that's what happened, or even like in the beginning, Moraine. When Egwene was like kind of like hiding Rand in the women's quarters, and Moraine saw them. She's like, she's going to be the Amerlin one day. Little hints like that were like, she has something in her that is going to be cultivated and refined and strengthened, so that at the end, when she becomes who she's supposed to become, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. So like she starts off her D&D campaign with a charisma of like 20.
Yeah.
In retrospect, in the books, so again,
everybody watch Plot Quest.
It bothers me that that it is canon that Egwene was not TAVERN, even though we know TAVERN can be temporary and
it's a continuum too.
I actually hate that there is a talent that someone can detect a glowing TAVERN.
It's never made any fucking sense.
It's the worst talent in the world.
Well, something about Egwene no one ever talks about. Robert Jordan really did try to make this entire series yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
And every single thing in these books has an opposite. He even says it in the text about everything. The world around them, everything. They tried to make Egwene Rand's yang. It's the only thing that I can even come up with, because there's nobody that equals either of the two other than those two. The problem with that is Rand is the dragon reborn. So he made Egwene heal the world, and he made Rand save the world. So he should have made Egwene TAVERN. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I don't
It really does, but the one argument against TAVERN, and I can understand if you're trying to be like sensitive as an author, even in the 80s, and everyone loves to bash Robert for not being like progressive. I think in the 80s he was fairly progressive.
He was the most progressive at the time.
Oh, dude, of course.
But like, wait, so like he. Oh, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. God damn.
Let's interrupt him again.
Robert Jordan, TAVERN, ladies.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So TAVERN, like undermines like accomplishment, right? Just by its very nature. Like literally every beat in the book for Rand, Perrin, and Matt, you could say, well, that's TAVERN, and to have the female characters accomplish without TAVERN is a way to like avoid any of that.
Totally makes it. Yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
So it does make their accomplishments a little unworldly or otherworldly, because some of them are fantastical, and they're like, we're leveling up in ways that were like in the books. Like also they had these abilities that just happen, which you just would kind of assume is like more like talent based or TAVERN based, but it's not. They're just like leveling up. So that was all like awkward and stuff. So I'm agreeing with everyone.
Right. So to your point, guys, in the books, do we know of any Lady TAVERN? ever, like in history? Is there ever anyone says, "Oh, strongest
There's,
Tavernian
Yeah,
since
I think
that
there's
lady
one.
Tavernian"?
There's an
I think so.
Amerlin seat that was Tavern.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
there's one. Chat will know.
Okay.
All right, so I got a
Yeah.
question for Jansen.
Weren't some of the heroes of the Horn Taviran?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know Archer
cool.
Hawkwing was.
Yeah, wouldn't
Yes, yeah. I don't think those are exclusive. Yeah,
But
we
would
just
Brigitte be Tavernian when she's pulled out?
Not when she's pulled out. No, she's caught up
No.
another Taveran.
yeah.
So
Like,
you
all right,
need,
so
you need to fully consummate in order to get Tavernus?
Yeah,
All
you
right,
can't
so
pull out.
I got. All right. Settle down. I got a question for Jansen. So one of the things that I loved most about the acting were our young actors' ability to like handle like hella dramatic scenes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and this goes back like every one of them, Perrin, Egwene,
Yeah.
Rand,
Yeah.
they like had like big moments.
Yeah.
But where I thought sometimes I could see their lack of like, I don't know to call it. It's when they're just like talking to each other. And sometimes I felt like, wow, this
it's all
like
chemistry
sometimes
and-
like, so yeah,
all
so I want to
chemistry and
ask you,
editing.
like, is it like harder to like just is it harder to act like a one or two person, I mean not one or two, but two person kind of dialogue thing than it is to like hack down Trollocs and run for your life? Like, you know what I mean? Like
I mean,
why is it that
physical versus
like
verbal?
you know?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know what it is.
physical
It's
The physical acting is not easy, dude, because it's all choreographed.
I'm talking about
What-
like the
what you're
big
seeing-
emotional moments, like the crying, like Rand holding the kid, like that.
Like Rand
face,
and
all
Egwene
of
breaking
that.
up versus Rand and Egwene
Thank
just
you.
chatting. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
Well,
so I
right.
looked at those moments. I'd be like, "Damn, I wish that was like acted better," you know. And I
Well,
don't want to sound
Yeah,
critical,
but it might have been. I mean, that was. I mean, it might. You might not have liked that interpretation, but somebody else might have liked it that way because, believe me, what we saw, each scene that we saw, there's at least 50 more that they had to choose from
Mhm.
of that exact same scene.
That were even worse.
Whatever the editor picked, you know, like
right?
they had to read. Like, most people don't.
I heard
realize
Rick was a
how-
get it in one take guy.
Yeah, it's so like people don't realize how boring acting is in the sense of it's so repetitive. The repetition is outstanding. It's like you'll do a scene. What's the last thing I worked on TV like 2 weeks ago? We did a scene. I swear we did it 90 times.
Mhm.
You know, and then they're doing different angles, different camera resets 90 times, you know, so they have to pick from that. And whatever the editor chose that scene. So that can tell you two things. That can tell you that the rest of them he hated so badly that he put that out there, or he just liked that version. You know,
Well, Jansen, that reminds me of that story of Rosie Perez doing the dance for, I think it was Do the Right Thing and Spike
Yeah.
Lee in the very
Yep.
beginning. And she's
Yep.
doing this energetic, like this,
Yeah.
like aerobic style dance.
yeah, you're doing the Cabbage Patch and everything else.
Yeah, and he kept saying, "Nope, do it again. Nope, do it again." And she was getting mad and tired and pissed. And so like 20 takes in, she's doing this thing and she's like getting like all these motions are angry. And he said, "Yep, that's all right, cool." But he didn't tell her anything. He just said, "Do it again." No,
Yep.
do it again.
Now that is a director's, you know, he's allowed to do that. They do that a lot. If they're not happy with something, this is their work they're putting out there. So, you know, I know some directors who are notorious. If I get
Founder
cast,
of-
I know we're going to be there the entire day and night. You know,
But to my point, aren't their job to kind of manipulate an actor to get their best performance? Isn't that kind of what they're supposed to do? Like
I don't know
to
about supposed to do. I think that
Well,
a director's job is to direct. You know what? Is to be the riverbank.
Hmm.
yeah, and I guess Spike Lee's a different example because it was a Spike Lee joint. I mean, it's
Yeah,
all him.
And
So.
every director, that's the thing. There's no written rule to how things are supposed to go on a set. Every single set I've ever worked on has been different. Every single crew is different. Every single, it's always different every time. And like certain certain directors do their jobs very differently. Like Martin Scorsese, he definitely does it differently than Harrison Ford or Mel Gibson
Chris
or,
Tarantino. Yeah. I mean,
you know?
So you have you ever worked like on a series where you've been with the same cast and did
Yes.
several episodes? So did
Yes.
you have separate directors for
Yes.
some of these episodes? All right.
Yes.
So what is that dynamic like? Where
It's
you're like,
very
all right,
different.
we know what the fuck we're doing, and then this new guy comes in and is he just pretty much just trying to get shots? Like, all right, the choreo.
Well,
he's more
here's the
the
thing. It's
choreographer
very
than anything,
different.
or?
Well, that's different because it can be very similar if it's a different director. Most people will come on a set and you'll say, "Who's the director?" They'll always point to the first AD. The director is usually never even seen on the set. The
You mean the
director is
athletic
usually
director?
in video. The director is usually in Video Island looking at the video of the film, of the shooting,
The monitor.
to see what it looks like on film. And the guy who's out there yelling at people what to do, I want to see you do this, I want to see you do that. Hey, can you bring this over here? Hey, can you smile differently? Or can you put a little more inflection in your laugh with this move? That's the first AD. That's never the director. That's the first assistant director. That's the guy who's basically he's the showrunner. And the director is never usually seen. They'll come out for a little bit and they'll talk to people sometimes, but they hardly are ever seen. It's so different.
Okay, because
So many people.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've in a lot of interviews I've seen when the interviewer is asking the actors, what was it like? How did you do this? What character or whatever? Like a lot of them respond with the job of the actor is to avail their character to the vision of the director. And so it isn't like, unless you're
and
maybe...
And the writer.
Yeah, and the writer. And so you're it's not like, I guess it's you're bending your character and all the knowledge of your character. So if another director comes in and you've had this character established, you've been playing this character for 7 years. I don't know that it's this new director comes in and you're kind of like, what's the vision for this episode? Where are we taking these characters? Where are we doing it? Versus, I've known this character for 7 years. I got it. My vision. I think actors, again, coming from I'm not an actor. Well, I am, but going into the, I'm a living actor. Going into going into the work environment, because this is their job, trying to be professional and trying to avail their character to that vision.
I mean, it's like,
I hear you.
But everything you guys said is true, but there's a lot more that you have to add to it, because it's like, if you're picking someone to play a character, you're picking that person to be that character. So they're going to always, and here's a perfect example. If you've ever seen the show 2.5 Men, Charlie
I always
Sheen
wondered
and
where
Ashton
the half
Kutcher.
man was.
This is Charlie Sheen's Dragon Blood.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen and Ashton Kutcher are two very different actors. And for Ashton Kutcher to come in after Tarlin, it was a very different style. It was a different delivery. It was different everything. It wasn't as good. And
that's
so,
the best actor of all time.
Because you also have to have you have to have chemistry. There's so much that has to work. There's so many different colors of paint on that canvas, and it has to work right. So it's.
So I imagine there's inherent risk if you're a director who is like, say, Rafe Judkins, a collaborative, like team worker. It seemed like every actor's interview I saw, they all talked about how Rafe just kind of let them do what they wanted.
Yeah, that's a good director. That's a good director.
Isn't there? But there's inherent risk in that, right? Like you can get like a hot, without like a overarching like precise vision.
Yeah, but dude, we're
you
talking
get
about
like a hodgepodge effect, right?
we're talking about, I don't know, 50 to 100 actors who are trying to do the job that one guy with a typewriter did on. Robert Jordan played all of those characters in his writings.
Yeah.
All
He did
the
a
actors
mean
never
over-
did. Yeah, you can't have that kind of cohesion with 50 different actors.
Mhm.
They're going to play it their way.
Mhm.
You know, they're not going to play it. They're not going to be that guy. You know, it's sad to say. And that being said, too, the other difference is we will never, ever get the Wheel of Time exactly as we have read it on any kind of film or television. It'll never happen.
No, that
They
would
will
suck.
never.
That would suck so bad.
They will never
So many
let
actors.
someone have 3 wives ever. It's not going to happen.
Well, hold on. I've seen some interesting things on my.
What about
Did you see Big Love? Yeah.
I totally understand. They're never going to do that. They're not.
I actually thought like Elaine and Avienda getting together before,
Actually made a lot of sense
theoretically,
to me.
they would eventually
Made
end
way
up
more
with
sense
Rand.
to
I
me.
thought made a lot of sense.
made a lot of
Yeah.
sense to me
Mhm.
because that's
And
That's a real
changes
fanfic.
to
I
Egwene,
thought
the
that
story as a whole. Like
I thought that
I'm less
because the
bothered
Wheel
with
of
that,
Time-
and I thought she did a great job doing what she was supposed to be doing. I mean, like as an actor, she did phenomenally well.
Yeah,
I
thought
I don't think she replaced my headcanon of Egwene or anything, but
yeah,
I think she did
that
a
the way that
fantastic
they
job.
were, way that
Nitpicky
they were
story
doing
things
it-
aside.
I think Rafe Judkins should have done this. I think Rand should have had a relationship with all 3. I think they just should have all broke up. And he should have ended up with Elaine in the end.
Oh, the
Really?
worst of the choices.
You just made Joe really. Like, he's probably gonna do
the worst.
the anger boner for the next half hour.
I get it. But if we're talking about the real world, if we're talking about real circumstances, I definitely have many friends who have dated 3 women in 3 years. So it's the way things go. Rand never
They-
married anyone in the books.
They were going to have to do some hardcore finagling for me to buy suddenly Min and Rand being an item in the
Yeah, that
There's
one was the
Oh, in this
hardest.
show?
no
Oh,
way.
fuck no.
Yeah.
No.
That
This
might
show-
have been difficult. That might have been difficult, but they could have found a way to do it. But it would have been so much easier if
He would have been having a
Egwene-
3-way with Matt too.
no.
What did you
she
guys
should
think
have-
about Egwene's Teleranriad stuff, like in the last season, like
Oh, bring us
comparatively
back
to
and
the books?
I thought it started getting cool.
It was rushed, in my opinion. I think that
Okay.
in the books, it was so fascinating.
She did
As a-
real strong, real
Yeah.
fast in the world.
Yeah, and a lot of it happened kind of off screen, so I don't know that it read as clearly as it did maybe when you were reading it. I know in the books, I just thought dreamwalking is a cool superpower. Foreseeing the difference between like foretelling the future as a talent and seeing like what could be possibly the future is a fun distinction. Like it's really, really cool. And then in the show, it was just kind of like. I think especially when the wise ones figured out that Egwene was going into Teleran Road, and they were like, "Bad Egwene." Okay, next scene.
Yeah,
And it was kind of like, no, they should have tied her hair up and given her a doll, just like they did in the books.
yeah.
And-
Oh, they
and-
did it. Well, I lied about being a Aes Sedai too. Bye. I mean,
Yeah.
they did that too.
Yeah.
there is no training. If you're not an attractive shirtless man, there is no training involved. It's all off screen. You just
Yeah.
level up elsewhere, unless you're hot and are shirtless, and then we'll see you do sword stuff. Sure, we'll see that.
I wasn't mad about that, but like, yeah,
I mean, I would have watched a Egwene training shirtless.
me too.
Yeah, I would.
And I'm not even
Yeah.
into that.
Doing Windfinder stuff should have been shirtless.
It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing that they didn't do.
I think that
It
would have been.
should have
interesting.
been. I will bet that they did
PG-13.
run that. I'll bet you that they tried
thought
that.
it was
I'll bet
cool
you that they
Just
talked about
put them
that.
in. I was like
I
shocked
thought
we
they
got.
talked about that.
Yeah, they could have
You
also
know.
done what they did with was it Melindra, where she had like something on, but titties were
But it was
everywhere,
right.
and I was like, "Ooh, I can see your bosom."
She had
And I would have,
something
I
on,
think that would
but
have
her
been
titties were
great
everywhere.
on the like on the Seafolk ship. They could have just had like a
Oh yeah,
I
that's
thought
true.
that
They could
was
have
one
like
of
a
my-
really
a little
thin
sling,
like,
just
blouse
like
shirt or
Cardi
something.
love
B
the
at
way
the
they
Met
did
Gala.
Yeah, that would have been great. It would have kept to whatever they were trying to do with censorship. and
Okay,
also-
guys, I got to talk real quick. I'm really sorry. I have to go for a reason that just happened. I will try to get back
All right.
on. And
Yeah.
I will talk
Good
to
luck.
you very shortly.
Good luck.
See you, Jansen.
That was about that nose sex thing we were sending before, right?
I miss him already.
I missed
Me
him already too.
too. I love Jansen.
So many
Yeah,
dealings, so many dealings.
Joe, what did you think? We were talking about the dream walking. Did you have thoughts on that?
The one that I really loved was when she was in Tarvalon and it was like dark and the little ghost children were running around. I thought that was super cool. But almost every other time she was in the world of dreams, it didn't even like it was just like a normal
There's
scene.
none of that
Like it
stuff.
doesn't even
Yeah,
feel enough like I did love that like rippling effect they did as they like phased in and out of places and stuff. But like mostly it was just kind of like I don't know, there wasn't enough visual representation that they were in the world of dreams for me, aside from that one creepy scene.
I think that they also did a very, we'll call it interesting or bad, interesting job of not really like what is Rand's dream or Egwene's dream versus the world of dreams. Like there really was no bifurcation of that, at least that we could see.
Yeah,
I did think she learned too quickly, like you said.
I feel like too there was it was the continuity for me was broken a little bit. I thought the thing was awesome. The visual effects were great. The theory of dreamwalking and being in Teleranriod was great. But I know that they were the wise ones kept pushing like if you're in your dream, you have the power. If you're in Teleranriod, blah blah blah. But there was no. It would have been cool if maybe there was a visual distinction.
No demarcation. Yeah.
And then in the end, she pops into Rand's dream and throws Lanfair out. So it's kind of like you're not even in your own dream. So it just this continuation was kind of like.
It is very pervy and voyeuristic.
They were very fast and loose with like magic rules in the.
Hold on, I want to hear this pervy stuff.
Well, so they have the idea of the world of dreams doesn't seem to be actual dreams, but like hopes and aspirations and what your best life is. And so we had Nynaeve with her kid, teaching her how to listen to the wind. We had Perrin with his dog and Fael in the thing. We had Matt being like presenting like and everyone liking him and them all rich. And no one was falling. No one was naked in front of like the village council, like, and everyone like, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm naked," but no one acknowledges. Like no like dreams. It was just like, "Oh, we're all living our best life here, yeah." And that was
it's a dream you would make up. Like if someone like, "What would you like to be?" Like as opposed to like what actually happens in your
what
real
actually
dream.
happens in dreams. If I went into Ryan's dream, I bet you there would be an elephant somewhere within that 8 hours. No elephants.
Brother Dan, it's just why the Two Rivers are so special. Even their dreams are like positive.
Except the people.
They're just good people. They're good Two Rivers folk, Dan.
I can't stand how dirty they made almost every parent from the Two Rivers was a fucking awful person.
But Tam Althor,
sleazy,
except for Tam.
Yeah, which he was so good he wasn't even brought back for other seasons. So
he's so good he had to leave.
Yeah, he was busy. He was busy, Jono.
Yeah, you don't think they could have used him in that fight?
I got to go a second too. I got a date with Jansen. That's really what he was alluding to. But I think like one thing that I really found fascinating, kind of, and I'm sure I'm going to botch it because I can't speak for shit, but everything regarding that kind of turns me on. Everything regarding like looking into the future, like whether it's dream walking, foretelling, men's abilities, like the actual even the Terangriel did seem like for the testing just really seemed like they didn't quite know how to handle it. And they kind of just messed it all up and said good enough. I don't know. That's
What's a scene from the book you would have wanted to see from Egwene?
I would have liked her
Great question.
initial. I know they sort of touched on it when Bear was like suddenly showed up in the dream, and she's like, "You don't belong here." But in the books, it expounded. Like Egwene was flying around, she was creating castles.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
was- I would have liked to see her explore that a little bit, and then maybe meet the Wise One and be like, "You're not supposed to be here. This is very dangerous. If you want to learn, come to the Aiel Waste, and I'll teach you." I thought that would have been incredible, and also
Mhm.
like a way for the viewers to see that the Teleranriod is this fantastical world of imagination, you know, and stuff like that. Maybe seeing like a nightmare in the world of dreams that she had to fight
Oh
off.
yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been super cool as well.
So I'll take the second part of that, which would be
Mhm.
her getting caught and
Mhm.
actually them fucking her up. And I think it's Amiz who catches her,
Mhm.
or Bear apparently. And like turning into like a monster to like
Oh,
frighten
yeah.
the shit out of her. and
Yeah,
let her
yeah,
know
yeah.
What happens? Like that too. That would be the other side of that fantasticalness of the world of dreams.
Mhm.
I mean, one of my favorite scenes is the when the Shan Chan attack the tower, and like when she has
Yeah.
Bora's Sarangrail and stuff. I mean, like
Oh well, that's
that's just
bad
frozen
news
in
on
my brain of
Mhm.
like just her like just going crazy and just ripping the like lightning bolts hitting the flying what are those Rakens?
Raken.
Toe Raken?
and toe raking.
My
Yeah.
Toe raking. You get camel toe raking.
The camel
Yeah,
toe
Uh,
raid.
That would have been amazing.
Can you imagine how big that camel toe's got to be on that toe raking?
That's when you're
Yeah.
just scratching. So,
Yeah.
scratching.
Also, on that note, highbrow joke. Good night, boys.
All right, bye, John.
Bye,
Hey,
Jono.
Jonathan
Bye,
Twatcast.
Jono.
everyone.
See Dad's point, yeah.
Twatcast.
Yeah, on
I
that
wrote it
note,
down.
Tag him on MySpace.
Team Maxim. Best name. Worst team, but best.
Right.
My thing that I wanted to see, we can't have Egwene without spanking. Like, she went to the novices' chambers. She got disciplined so hard,
Mhm.
and we didn't get one. We didn't get one
Not
paddling
one.
from her.
Not
Madeline
one.
did
Mhm.
not get paddling.
No, they
Yeah,
go straight
Sheriam
to
was
like
non-existent.
Tyrion. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, they go straight to cutting off the head.
Cut it
That's
in,
discipline in
bashing-
the White Tower.
bashing
Yes.
with staffs.
God.
Ryan, what did you want to see that we did not see?
Do you think the janitor is like, God damn it?
Not again.
So much blood,
Yeah.
so much blood in the hall all the time.
And she's
I
like
think-
screaming, so the blood is getting in her mouth. It was unsanitary.
Yeah,
No,
there's no way the
um,
novices clean that up. They have a janitor
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
I would have
100%.
loved to see like a really nice short scene between Egwene and Tamouth Thor and the Two Rivers when
Mm.
they have a heart to heart at a table outside.
You know
I
what,
would have
Ryan?
loved to see that.
That would have been
That's
so. You know what? And it was only like 45 seconds or so, but it would have added a lot to the story emotionally.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm referencing a scene they cut and then like,
Right.
ceremoniously showed us later. Like, meh, meh. No, I agree. Earlier, someone was talking about the Perrin and Egwene. I always thought that whole escape scene and all of that.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that was
them
super
meeting
fun,
Elias
yeah.
together and like
That would have been really cool.
I would have loved that whole sequence. And I don't know how do you guys feel about this? I always thought Egwene or Perrin liked Egwene. And that's
Yeah,
why I thought
100%.
they added that. Okay, so you
Mhm.
picked that up in the books, right?
Yeah,
Okay. But then it just like
I think it's
went-
there, but especially with
then
the
it
jealousy
just kind of
with
went
Aaron.
away, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe Jordan was kind of like, let me see how this works, and then it was just like,
Mm.
like I just like threw it away. Who knows?
If Perrin
Um,
like actually like, you know, grew a pair, shot a shot, would things have changed between the two of them? Do you think? Okay, so the question is, did Egwene like Perrin back at any point?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think so either.
Hey, what? Whatever could you mean, me?
Yeah, I think it would have gone for that kind of I like Rand, Perrin likes Egwene, and then she's like, but I don't see you that way. And I don't know that would have
Mhm.
landed the same way.
Mhm.
And so maybe that's why Jordan was like, well, I didn't expressly say this, so maybe they won't notice. Moving on.
Yeah.
Chapter 2.
They're also just not around each other mostly after that.
Yeah,
LBF
really.
makes a good point, actually. So Perrin did seem to dislike Egwene flirting with Aram. That could have
Yeah.
been just because he was looking out for Rand. He's like, yo,
Possibly.
what about my boy?
Maybe Perrin liked Aram, and that's why he didn't.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
LBF, that's how I always read it as well, is that Perrin was like, bro, you're with Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's funny because then
Leaf
later they make fun of each other for that because Egwene says something about she's making fun of Rand for something like, oh, is that the kind of girl you like, or something like that, and then Perrin says, well, at least he's not Aram, or something about that, and then she's like turns like beet red, and so they're just jabbing fun at each other.
Yeah. You got Egwene and Aram sitting in a tree. Fucking.
Wait, that's not how it goes.
What?
Isn't it? That's how I've always sung it.
Oh, is that how it goes? Oh. I taught my kids the wrong song. Correct that tomorrow.
In the Two Rivers,
Violet,
it's
Violet,
KIS.
can you come in for a minute?
We get her. Violet.
And then you got a call the next day from school. Mr. O'Hara?
Violet's singing that song a little.
Does a
weirdly.
vulgar puppet mean anything to you? That this is the story we're getting. A puppet saying a dirty story. Anyway. So Egwene, at the end of the story, Egwene it was accelerated, granted, sure. She is now a dream walker. She's even meeting her friends. She's like, hey guys, let's do this. This is rad. Hey, I know how to drive. Don't tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
She is with the IEO, and Rand does not have any real respect for her, it seems, right? She's like, Rand, don't. And he looks at her like, oh, you mean this thing I'm doing, and you can't stop me? Yeah, this thing.
Yeah.
That.
My favorite is the look she gives when she sees Lanfear making out with Rand, and she's like, "Oh my god!"
Aw,
The
thanks,
best.
man.
The best.
So, guys, true talk. You
Mhm.
slip into your significant other's dream, and they are like doing sexy stuff with an enemy of yours. But maybe they don't know that you have such negative feelings towards this person, right? To you, it's just a person. But to them, it's just a person. But to you, it's like, oh my God, this is my mortal enemy. How do you react? Rand doesn't know any of the history behind Lanfear and Egwene. Rand did not invite Egwene into his dream. He didn't say, hey, check this out. Egwene slips into his dream and sees her fiance, boyfriend, it's complicated, making out with like her mortal enemy at that point. How do you react if you're Egwene? I'll ask you.
I mean, I think she reacted perfectly.
Just backing away, horrified.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then
then
the subsequent fallout of the relationship, because of that. But like, the thing that bothered me is that it's not Egwene's character. I was mad that Egwene was acting that way, but I really was mad that they did that to Rand, really, as a character. Because I don't feel like he would have done that, kind of thing. I don't think he would have been in a relationship with somebody and then like continued on a weird side relationship in the world of dreams. Like that seems overly dramatic relationship shit that they just shoved into the show.
Yeah.
And kind of paints Rand in a really shitty light versus Egwene. I think she reacted how anyone would if their partner was, fucking forsaken.
Honestly, you would react this way to your. So, like the next day, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I saw you in your dream having sex with evil.
In the case of the Wheel of Time, where the dream world is basically real, yeah, I'd be upset. It's like
Okay,
who wouldn't be
okay.
upset at somebody cheating on them?
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Dad's one.
I think it's the difference of like it was not clear to me. I guess maybe he did know, but it's like, did Rand know? Was he aware that he was in the dream? You know, did he have like what is it called? Like lucid dreaming. Like he knew he was there. He knew Lanfear knew she was there. And so he decided to eat her puss anyway. And so it's like,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
or did, first of all, I would say, Egwene, what are you doing in my dream? That was my big thing. It was like, you decided to be nosy. And so now you saw something that you didn't want to see, and that's on you. But if it's that Rand knew that he was there and he was banging Lanfear anyway, even if he was trying to manipulate her or whatever, it's cheating. It's not, so I think on some level Egwene was justified, even though the way she gained that knowledge was her own fault, really. But now having that knowledge, she can, and also like the way that Rand reacted was kind of like, well, you don't know everything that's going on. It's like, well, you didn't, like, don't come at me with that when I'm trying to address this situation. So I think she reacted on some level appropriately, but also like, what are you doing there?
No, absolutely. What are you doing there? You were in someone's most personal spot, which is their dream mind. I don't remember my dreams. I could have wild dreams, and it's been like months since I like remembered one. But let's say in my dream, I was being intimate with Ryan's puppet, and someone slipped into my dream and was like,
what hole?
How did all of them? Obviously, probably because I don't remember. So I guess Wheel of Time dreams.
Oh, you would remember.
Yeah.
No, you'd remember.
But I mean, in an obscene hypothetical like that, yeah, I could be with a pack of Perrin probably has wolf sex dreams. If
100%.
So
is he a wolf or a human? That's the question.
Should Egwene judge him off of this dream? No, you're doing what you do, baby. It's just a dream.
It's not just a dream, though. It's Killarandria. It's different.
She pops into Perrin's dream and he's like a wolf banging all the sheep.
Why wouldn't you? He's young Bull, for crying out loud. That's why
he didn't get that. He didn't get that nickname just because of the axe.
Because of the seed.
That's why there were so many wolves at the last battle.
Perrin's got a lot of illegitimate cubs running around the Tellerand.
Ryan's puppet. We don't ask Ryan's puppet what its dreams are. We just put it on a chair. But Ryan's puppet's dreams may be horrifying. If you slip into Puppet Randriad.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Ryan's puppet is like Rand. You slip into his puppet dream and he just beheads you and has your corpse kneeling in front of you.
No, I'm always dreaming this.
Yeah.
That is the dream.
That is the dream. The American dream.
Oh man.
All right. Well,
anything else about the show versus book, Egwene, that we wanted to touch on that we didn't?
I did want to say that I didn't read the books having a solid like human image in my mind concerning any of these characters. Like if you had asked me, what does Moraine look like? I don't know that I would have been able to really tell you, apart from maybe just the description that she has, certain color hair.
What about
or
like cover art and stuff?
No, because it was all sort of different in my like some of it was this, and then some of it I was like, oh well, she's drawn differently here, and then I had the graphic novels too. They were like really well drawn, but also it was kind of like, well, she doesn't look like she did on the cover of the Eye of the World or whatever. Yeah, like that. I don't know.
I would say I kind of pictured Courtney Cox.
But I mean, relating it to
Honestly,
maybe
like from Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, like maybe relating it to actors that I saw. would have been good as that character. I don't know that I had that. So I think in that way, Madeline Madden gave me a kind of like a superimposed picture of what I thought Egwene might have looked like.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is, headcanon, but that's what I kind of see when I'm looking at Egwene in the books. I'm like, I can see her, but there's this sort of back picture of maybe a hollow Egwene that's just always been in my mind anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
It's hard to put faces to like people that we just have had, and I don't know how much we actually like when Rand's talking. I don't picture Rand talking,
Mhm.
but gosh darn it, sometimes now when like I'm reading Moraine or something, I'll like picture Rosamund Pike's voice.
Mhm.
So it does infest my what my canon was for sure. Two Rivers does as well. I kind of had this pastoral village, but like seeing the inside of the wine spring, I'm like, okay, right on. And now,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
this is okay, and that works.
And
there's-
it's backwards too, because like when the whole of the tower in the show did not match my visualization of what it would look like from the books, so it goes back and forth, kind of. Like there was a scene.
You were missing those rainbow tiles in the ground.
Sure was.
How about Shadow Gold or Shadow Logoth? Shadow Logoth.
Shadow Logoth, I thought
kinda
was
like it.
fantastic.
I
That was
liked.
pretty good.
Yeah, Shadow Logos in the show went way better for me than it did in my mind in the books. I wanted to go there and like explore.
Yeah.
And the ways.
I think the books were different. I think the books looked better for me in my head than it did in the show. Although they did a very good job in the show. I just felt like in my mind I was able to imagine these sort of really vast, pathways and islands and ups and downs, and it almost looked like an MC Escher, painting or something like that in my head.
Did Mashin Shin? Did Nynaeve kill Mashin Shin?
In the show?
Yeah.
In the show.
Yeah, because she blasted. They were like having all these thoughts. She went no. She blew up the Harry Potter key.
The ball of power. Yeah.
And then people are using the ways from then on out. And there's lightning, sure.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
There's no.
I always
Yes,
thought
it
that she put up a shield, because if you watch the scene, all of the bees
Yeah, it looks like
are
it's just getting pushed back.
hitting it and
Yeah.
trying to get in. And then I think that the point they were trying to make in the show is if you channel, that's what activates Machin Shin. And if you're just there having a picnic, he doesn't care. He's not going to visit you.
So Trollocs can walk by pretty much scot-free.
Yeah, unless they channel.
They just don't read Ogier script so well, so they get lost. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just fall off the edge.
That
Right.
makes sense.
There's too many of them on the bridge.
Did you know you could break it with a few good hits with the sledgehammer?
I did not know that.
About 3 good hits with the sledgehammer.
You have to yell as well.
Yeah.
Well, first you have to
All right,
sing,
well.
and then you have to yell. And then
You got to
have hit
sing, yeah. Sing him
Okay, well, let's we're veering wildly off course. We're gonna have time to talk about each and every one of these characters and those amazing scenes that live on in infamy and our little nogs.
Yeah. We have decided as a show to go ad-free. Ads are a bad experience for the viewer. They're dumb. So we're taking away the ads, whatever stupid revenue, blah.
Oh, that's really nice.
Well, 12 cents thing. Keep a penny, save a penny, that shit. So we're taking away the ads because you guys are supportive and are doing stuff for us. So thank you so much. And we're trying to make it as fun as it can to watch us. We'll be on Wednesday for our first time reader show. We're doing the prologue to Memory of Light, the final book by Robert Jordan and
Amal.
Brandon Sanderson. And we will not be here next week, I do not think, because Father's Day. So we're gonna do Father's Day stuff. I think we got a bunch of dad swains here.
Daddy swings.
Daddy's. Joe, what's good?
Yeah?
Your podcast on it, or your video, your YouTube show is honestly the funniest thing now going on. Jono, I didn't get to tell Jono, but his reading of Charles Bukowski poems,
Yeah, it's
kills me. Taffy Bennington is the best recurring guest I have in the world. And Tom,
Yeah, I agree.
is back
Tom's there.
in all his dim glory.
Yeah. He's doing great.
With all that great lighting.
Yeah.
Love it.
Leaves early.
But you know what? In August, he's going to look great all show.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot better done than, in the later half of the year. Well, thanks, Dan.
What are you guys talking about? There's
Just
minds
more
of the
show
show.
stuff. We're just
still?
as long as the save WAD thing is going on, we're just going to keep the conversation going around the show, I think, for a while.
I hear there's
just
a billboard.
Until it completely dies or something happens, maybe it comes back.
Is there a billboard that isn't above a Brazilian Nike store?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Brazilian soccer store, and then save what?
Save what?
I love it. There is a petition going on. Apparently, over 112,000 or some shit like that.
I think it's 120. It's up there.
Yeah, that was up there around 120.
In the meanwhile, Amazon has just signed on to do another fantasy show. I don't know if you heard that. So
Sons of bitches.
What you gonna do?
What I know what I'm gonna do. All right.
Fantastic.
I think he
I
thought
love
I was
it.
going to end the show, but I'm not
I did.
done.
I want
You ran off.
You got to end with everyone. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to the person next to you. Be kind in a like a geographical circumference around you. Be as kind as you possibly can. The world needs it. But until then, Oh, yeah. No, Dan, you please.
Well, it's Pride Month. You know what? Our trans community, especially, is they deserve better. So, guys, just stop marginalizing fucking people that are already against the ropes. Fucking A, man. So yeah, let's stand up. Let's all support, man. That's all.
Love it.
Yeah.
But when all hell breaks loose and all ties to his sanity are unraveled, run for your lives.
Yeah, run for your lives.
This is the way of the league.